Hello, this is Jacob and Matt here today with Small Business Chat with a new segment we call Small Biz Showcase, where it's our customers, our reviews of their products. So today we have a new product called Chariot Travel Wear. One of our customers sent us this today. Matt, how's it going today?
Going awesome, man. It's awesome to have people sending you stuff, right? Isn't that
Right,
cool?
it is a cool
That's
experience we
Chariot.
get to. We get things like this. We got spaghetti sauce before. We've got what other things have we got before? I think we've got chocolate a few times here or there.
Tony
too.
Figueretti with Figueretti spaghetti sauce out in
Yeah.
Wheeling, West Virginia. If you're ever in Wheeling, West Virginia, hit up. Figueretti's been there since staple since I think 1948.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we get stuff all the time.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Shout out to them. And so we're gonna do a little light unboxing today. We'll also leave the link in the description for you guys too to check them out. So I'm wrapping this like a diaper from the bottom. Like a nice little kind of fabric here.
You don't have kids. How do you know how to unwrap diapers?
I don't know. I would assume this is how it works, right?
You got a tag up there. That's
A little tag
yeah.
through.
Which, by the way, on the tag, just so give a little initial thing. I noticed this right there. 5-year. We already got a 5-year warranty that's coming with this bad.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty nice right
the
there.
thing up there.
Yeah.
So nice packaging. It really does fit well with the luggage case. So I would assume kind of just if you really want to take extra protective care over this thing, you can put this little bag over it. But
it's shiny.
Yeah, it is really shiny. Let's get the side of the picture.
And it's red. So one of the things, I don't know if it'll come up on the video, but it's one of the cool things is like the paint finish on this. Like,
yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like something it's like a pearl finish on like a nice like Ferrari or something.
Yeah, honestly, it's like a really cool red with like interesting like tones and colors. It's cool.
Exactly.
It's obviously a hard case.
Yeah.
It's
the Ferrari of luggages, I'll call this.
Yeah.
So also here on the side, you can see right here is somewhat of a locking mechanism where you can put in a little key. I don't know if you can see that right there. That's cool.
And I think that's one of the unique things about Chariot, right?
Yeah. Exactly. We can just lock this away, and then I think
there's no zipper. There's actually no zipper on this.
That is the coolest way to open a luggage. Look at that. You it's kind of like a little.
It's got no zipper on it. And so it makes it a little bit easier. So for anyone who's basically travels a lot, I travel a lot. Basically, the no zipper function is really, really cool. Just by virtue of the fact that you're not like always like flipping your suitcase around, all that sort of stuff. You just get it, you open it up, boom, it's there. And then so inside you've got snacks.
Is it a snack? I don't think you can eat those peanuts. Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
It's still like no.
So yeah, just little examples of what you can put in here. A little netting over here.
Your keys.
And then some more netting over here on this side. And then over here, I don't know what this is.
It's got good size for a roller bag. This is a great ideal bag, and for my things for for somebody who's going like a day or two business trip. This is perfect for it. Again, solid, durable construction. How many people are giving you a 5-year warranty in this industry and actually want that to happen? Obviously, it's got the thing that slides up, on the back.
Yeah,
with exactly. A little, and such. But it's a great product. It's got wheels. It's durable as heck. But once again, 5-year warranty. 5-year warranty
That's
for
pretty good
luggage.
for luggage, man.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
It's fantastic. And like I said, paint color. One of the things that I always look for, when you're sitting there in a carousel, waiting at, at the airport is, well, how do you tell your bag? And my former father-in-law used to take the weirdest looking parachute straps, because everyone's got a black bag, right?
Yeah.
And tie them around and all that sort of stuff. But with this unique paint job on Chariot, you're not gonna have a problem with telling your bag on the carousel, because you're gonna be able to see it. Boom. By the way, just a little travel hack that we recently are doing: get an Apple AirTag and keep it in your bag, because you always know where your bag is. You can even see when it's loaded on the plane or otherwise. But in that regard,
Samsung does that too.
Yeah, Samsung. You've got a little handy dandy, I don't know if I may.
Yeah, go for it.
You've got a little handy dandy zipper on the inside in here, where you could actually, drop your AirTag somewhere down in here. So even if someone were to try to abscond with your beautiful, Chariot, and whether or not, it would basically, you would basically make sure that they can't abscond with it, because you have it, tracked. And again, so lock it down.
Really nice wheels here on the bottom too.
Boom.
Kind of like a nice little design, like a little reflective.
Yeah.
And then little rubber stoppers.
I haven't seen that. That's really cool. So you actually put the rubber stoppers down, so when you actually lay it down,
It'll stay in place.
Yeah, it's going to stay in place, and you can even put it on a wood table, and it's not going to scratch it.
See how high it goes.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's pretty decent height.
Yeah, so this is a quality product. Nice job, Terry. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Personally, I just now who's this? Someone in the office got this, right?
Yes, it was Greg and Shannon. Yeah.
Greg and Shannon got. Okay, yeah. So we're jealous. We didn't get this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you're one of our customers and you're listening, please, if you want to send anything in to us, we'd love to give it a review. So, again, this will wrap up our little new segment we call Small Biz Showcase, where it's again our customers, our reviews. Hello, this is Jacob here again with another episode of Small Business Chat. Again, today joins me Matt Swires. We're dedicating this episode. This episode is also sponsored by the Trademark Company. When you think of forming a new business, think of the Trademark Company because we are now launching new LLC services. So, Matt, take us through that today. That's a really big day today for that to happen. How are you doing today, Matt?
Yeah, thanks. And we're very excited over the Trademark Company. We've, for years, we've sort of had them in the background, but, now that we've really perfected it, we're just excited to be relaunching them and, bringing it up. But to that point, what we thought was, well, listen, it's, what a great time. I mean, in history, it's never been a better time to start your own business because you can get online fast and, basically have a business almost overnight. But to that end, especially now that, we're really cranking out the LLCs for our small business customers, wanted to sort of just touch, base because, a couple of years back, I had the good fortune to, author a book called The Maverick Method, How to Win the Startup Game. And, it goes through about 10 rules to startup success. But really, there's really a top 5 that like sort of, bury it down to, or, not bury it down to, but, limit it down to, and just sort of talk to our, people today about, them. And, Jacob, you want to take us through the rules or you want me to take us through the rules? I can do it. I just thought
I'll go ahead and list them all out for you and we can go one by one. Again, these are top tips for a new business. First one is create a new product people want, or just a product in general. For example, like t-shirts, which a lot of people are obviously out there doing. It's just enough, not to discount anybody that wants to do t-shirts or wants to make t-shirts, but a lot of people do it versus something people want. For example, pot. That's a really high in demand type of product right there.
Now, is that just you that wants this? You're a big fan? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, you wrote this one, not me.
Sorry, yeah, I gotta get you in trouble, right?
I do. I discreetly.
Yeah.
And so, I was also going to bring up the other points, which are shamelessly market it. Third one is cash is king. Know your books. So, and then also for scale, team, train, and then also continue to innovate. And reinvent. Shout out to Apple because obviously Apple started the touchscreen phone game. So, but Matt, go ahead and start off with the first one, which is again create a product people want.
Yeah, I mean, so think about the things that you use yourself, Jacob, and anyone who's out there listening. And so a lot of people statistically think that this is a really foolish thing, to bring up. Like, well, of course, you only want to start a business that, creates products that people want. But when you actually statistically look at things, I want to say it's an unbelievable number. It's something like 80% of businesses that fail because they end up creating a product that people don't want or don't need. And so maybe someone needs the product, but maybe someone else is providing it better. So in your course, when you're actually thinking about what goods or services that you're going to bring out as a small business, the first thing you really need to ask yourself is am I creating a product that people want? So Jacob basically mentioned, t-shirts, versus, like pot, we sort of jokingly put that up on the board, the second one, but it's sort of true, but it's sort of not true, but it's sort of true. Like one of the things that we've seen over the years that, the Trademark Company is, we love helping all of our small, customers, small business customers, but, we get a lot of people that, apply for the next, lifestyle brand. And one of the things that we always like to think about would just simply be is, okay, I know we all want to basically have that next big brand, like a Kardashian, or something. But, like, I don't know, Jacob, let me throw it back, just ask you, do you think that if you were to start a t-shirt company today, who do you think would have better sales? If you started a t-shirt company or Kim Kardashian started the t-shirt company?
Mm-hmm. Obviously Kim Kardashian, because she's got the popularity, she's got the stature in the business. So pretty much whatever she comes out with, even maybe silly or whatever it may not be, right. It's going to be popular no matter what, because she's got the marketing team behind her and also her popularity.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's already got that lifestyle brand just because she's Kim Kardashian, One of our customers that I thought did the best job ever in history of this, and this goes back a long, long time ago, was mental headgear. Like, so when you think about creative people, product people want, I'm not saying that you can't get into the industry if you're not, sorry, I'm gonna always say my celebrity crush, Britney Spears. If you're not Britney Spears, if you're not, Kim Kardashian or someone who's already famous, but you need to come up with a really cool, thought on that. Mental headgear many, many years ago came up with, if you've ever been on a ski slope. Do you ski, by the way?
I actually have never skied.
Wow.
I'd love to, though.
We got to get you out there sometime. But but when you're on the ski slope, you've seen the people that are going down, the ski slopes, and they have some like really wild and crazy hat on that has like, looks like they have like orange dreadlocks or something like that. Our customer many, many years ago, I'm talking about like a decade ago, I think may have been the first one to innovate that. And they called it like it was mental headgear, and they have like this whole, now they're like massive. They have this massive line of products, and such, like it's really cool headgear. So yeah, you could say that, and then I think they started off with even t-shirts. So you could say, oh, well, Matt, I'm not a Kardashian. I'm not, a Spears. How am I going to do this? So the answer is you can do it, but what's your angle? What is it why are people going to look at this and go like, that's really cool? For the mental product, I could answer that question very easily. At the time, I don't remember seeing anything like that. So rather than just having like a cool, like little beanie or whatever to keep your head warm while you're going down a ski slope, they said, well, why don't we take this to the next level and let's make it funny. Like, let's, make it look like you've got dreadlocks, or let's make, but not just like normal looking dreadlocks, like it's real hair, like orange and pink and all these really cool, bright, vibrant colors. And that was their scheme. And, props out to them. They did it. They did a great job. So we're not saying don't start that t-shirt company. What we're just saying is, don't walk into it. I want to start my own business and everyone's going to buy my t-shirt because it's me, because my name's Matt, and like, I don't have that level of, like, hey, and people are going to buy the t-shirt. And we've seen so many t-shirt companies that just never really get off the ground. And how do we know this? Because 5 years later, we go to talk to them about, renewing their trademark or whatnot, and they're no longer in business. So the first tip is create a product that people really want. Now, Jacob mentioned pot for a minute. Now, I'm not going to mention the name here, but, we are fortunate enough to basically have one of the largest, legal distributors it's not working for us. We wish. we just got done with doing a product sample thing. I do have to say, for legal reasons, we have never been shipped pot to basically do a product sample for our product review, Jacob. But if we do, we're gonna have to think about that one long and hard, right?
Yes, we might have to demonstrate, but
hey, this is really good stuff in the name of just helping out our customer, right? But this particular customer, I don't think he needs any help from us, because his business is 50 times larger than the trademark company, because he sells something that people want, right? And yes, he owns one of the largest legal dispensaries in the country. He is based out of Nevada and all that sort of stuff. But let's just face it, whether or not the laws say that you can do it. I know the Biden administration is moving to partially decriminalize it, or, make marijuana less of and all that sort of stuff. But people want pot. Maybe my generation doesn't. I know, well, some of my roommates from college definitely still do, but my generation, whatever. But, that's something. So just to throw that in the dichotomy of create a product people want. I'm not saying your product should be pot, because there are so many legal, if you go to try to sell even those legal dispensaries, there are barriers to entry that you better know about, because even though it's quote unquote legal, they have so many technical laws that you have to comply with. Law firms have sprung up just to deal with those sort of things. But we're just talking about the demand. You got to make sure that there is a demand for your product, and you got to make sure that it's going to be there for a while in order for you to invest enough time to go down that road. So again, create that new business. Start that side hustle that's going to get you away from the, the job that you no longer want to be in, or get that slice of the American dream. But don't do it with blinders on. Make sure that there's a market for your product. If you're ever curious as to how to actually test that, Google, greatest test ever. Search and see if anyone's doing paid ads for it. See if anyone is actually, out there talking about this. We need this, et cetera, et cetera. Just do an internet search, and it's going to let you know about that demand, right?
Exactly. And also, Matt, I wanted to ask you a question myself for ours on the topic of creating a product people want. What type of research should anyone go through to find people's wants and needs. Like if I have an idea for something, but I obviously know that probably a lot of people do it as well. Is there a certain research somebody should kind of do on their own to figure out what that niche is, or what that special thing that will make them blow up?
Yeah, I mean, to be candid with you, I think there's an entire market that you can go through, or just going through Quora. I think it's Quora.com. And I actually think you just look at people's, I have to keep this PG, so we'll say complaints. But all the time people are complaining about products and all that sort of stuff. I think that one of the other things that you can do is research. I would research Trustpilot. I would research Google reviews and find out things where people are basically complaining about the state of a certain product, and I would solve that problem and create a better product. That's always one way you can do it. Or again, just search generally, like search engines, Amazon.com, and to see if there's a market for it. Now, Amazon is a very interesting one, by the way, just because you just got to be very careful, because if products are already appearing on Amazon, that means your market's probably already saturated. And that's going to be a real challenge, because if you're trying to get a market share in a saturated market, that's tough. But again, we want you to take that swing, because something, the world would have been deprived of mental headgear if they did not take that swing. They did it and they made it. And you will make it too. We just want you to make sure that you actually think your way through this, and the thought process that doesn't start and end with, screw my current job, I'm going to go make a t-shirt company, I'm out of here. And then you find that, well, you don't have a Kardashian as a last name or Spears as a last name, and that you actually didn't have that mental concept that, and such, or your product isn't in demand like pot. Think it through and make sure that you know who your market is, your target market, how you're going to sell it, and what that price point is going to be. All right, good deal. I think we're kicking that one. What about shamelessly market yourself? What do you think about marketing, Jacob?
Well, I think marketing is one of the, if not the biggest tool to be able to have in your tool set for when starting a new business. Because if you create a great product, just like how like we're going through Kim Kardashian's example, then you're not going to have, you can create the greatest product in the world, but if no one can see it, then nobody's going to buy it. It's going to be hidden. So if you don't have a great marketing team, you don't have a great marketing background to be able to supplement your product, then it's never going to take off the ground. So I think it's one of the most important things.
Dude, you just said that so beautifully. Like, seriously. like what I always say is, you can have the greatest product of all time, and if no one knows about it, it doesn't matter. And so, listen, I apologize. He is, but you've worked with me long enough. You know that, I'll bring in, charged analogies sometimes, all that sort of stuff. I know our former president's under trial. I know he's I'll just say somewhat divisive figure, whatever the case may be. And I'm not taking political sides on our podcast here. I'm just simply saying, though, one of the greatest self-marketers of all time. I mentioned this in the book. I go through a couple examples. Richard Branson, the Virgin brand. I'm trying to think of the other ones that are great self-marketing, but Donald J. Trump, President Donald J. Trump, or former president, whatever we want to call him. But anyways, in the respect to the office, irrespective of, whatever, one of the greatest self-marketers of all time, right? I mean, do you remember in training here that I told you, did I ever tell you that? Like in training, like, be like Trump, right? Like everything's fantastic, everything's great, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And, love him or hate him, or, whatever your opinions are, the gentleman can market. And I think that's one of his special skills. And let me just show you what we're talking about. Like, shamelessly market yourself. If you've ever read The Art of the Deal, written and or partially written by Donald J. Trump, I read it. And there's some innovative concepts in there. It's one of the reasons why he became president of the United States. Is, one of the first things he does, first of all, he's under the belief that there's no bad press, if you have ever read this. And back in the day when he was, a real estate mogul, he still is, but, but just a real estate mogul, but he'd be like, why would I take out a $50,000 ad in, the New York Times to sell my real estate, when if I just do something that garners interest, they're going to write an article on me for free. And such. And that's what, one of the ironies I'm looking at for his presidential campaigns that are going on right now, not to delve too political into this. And people are like, well, we can't understand how he's doing so well in the polls and, blah, blah, blah. He's not spending any money on advertising. I'm like, why does he have to? He has an entire network covering him 24 hours a day in CNN. Once again, it's the magic of President Donald J. Trump. But taking that, away from politics and stuff, that's what you got to do for your own brand. Like, Richard Branson, oh, he crossed the, the Atlantic in a jet boat or whatever, faster than anyone. He, went up in a balloon. So he's got international media following him every single day. Guy's brilliant, and such. For 5 days, we're wondering if his balloon's going to make it across the Atlantic, or for 2 or 3 days, we're following him. And then when he comes into New York Harbor or wherever it was he came into in a huge boat, or he lands in a huge balloon, and it says Virgin all over it. His brand, he's talking about shamelessly marketing. It just got not free press. It obviously cost, Mr. Branson, a lot of money to do that. But the volume of press that he got for it was exponential. And so the next thing is just, okay, so once you have a product that people want, you've got to shamelessly market yourself. Look at the greats, Richard Branson, Donald J. Trump. To some degree, Elon Musk is the same thing now. He's just the modern version. He'll say bombastic things. He'll smoke weed on a podcast or whatnot. He'll go out and rip people up. But last time I checked, he's one of the richest men on the planet. Because again, I don't remember seeing any advertisements for SpaceX, but they have a tremendous amount of press. Tesla, same thing. He's doing a great job. So the second point that we'd like to make for everyone out there is just shamelessly market your product. I'm gonna leave you with this on this topic. Jacob, have you ever heard of Betamax?
Betamax? No.
Seriously, I love this. This is great. You seriously have never heard of Betamax?
No.
Fantastic. Great point. Thank you. I'm so glad. I'll have to pay you like $1 or $2 extra, next time we see each other. But back in the 1980s, my God, that's before you were born, wasn't it?
Yep. 1997 was when I was born.
Oh my God. Okay, I have to contemplate this for a minute. I just felt a little bit older. I think my back just started to hurt too. Good Lord. And my hair got a little bit grayer. But hey, anyways, back in the 1980s, believe it or not, if we didn't see something on TV for the first time, like you just missed it and you just didn't see it. Maybe you saw it on summer reruns. They came out with this machine called a VHS machine. And this was like, holy crap. It was like the most revolutionary thing ever. That means you could actually record something on TV and watch it later. You could bring home a movie. You didn't have to have like HBO or anything like that. You could rent it. It was the advent of basically Blockbuster video, right? They started renting it then. Blockbuster, I'm pretty sure you've heard of. But so what the hell was Betamax? Betamax was a smaller version of an VHS tape that had higher resolution, higher quality. It wasn't like CD or MP3 quality, but it had better quality, and it was exclusively made by Sony. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they patented it. But it was the same tape, big tape contact. Like, and you know what a VHS tape is, correct?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when it first came out, you had a Betamax section and a VHS section. Well, Sony didn't market very well their Betamax. VHS became just the industry standard. Probably it may have been tied also in with some patent stuff, like maybe Sony didn't like license out their patent to the Betamax. But they just didn't market it well enough to everyone know, like, why would I do Betamax versus VHS? So coming around full circle, you've never heard of Betamax, have you?
I see where you're getting at, why this is a perfect example. It's because they didn't market it well enough.
They didn't market it well enough, and it went the way of the dodo. So you've got to market your product shamelessly. And so again, not getting political, think about the greats of shameless marketing. In my opinion, former President Donald J. Trump, Sir Richard Branson, and there are obviously almost so many, Elon Musk, etc. These people know how to market their product really, really well. And if you're not willing to do it, also consider maybe entrepreneurship isn't the right thing for you. Otherwise, everything that you do, if someone wants to do an interview for you, okay. Someone wants to do an article, okay, whatever it is. And that's been my philosophy. Someone calls me up, he says, we have a podcast listener base of 7 people. Cool. Where do you want me? Gary Vaynerchuk, that's another good one. He's the one that always makes that point too. Like, he's like, I don't care. You have a podcast that has like 15, listeners. I will come on your podcast, because then he takes the content and he blasts it out over his media where he has millions of followers. So anyway, shamelessly market yourself. Okay. We're running tight on time. So let me move on here is, cash is king, and know your books from an accounting perspective. What do you think that means?
Cash is king obviously means that sometimes cash triumphs over some things, and know your books, meaning make sure you do your research.
Yeah. I mean, largely it's really more of a it's a financial, this is the financial side of things. And it's how much money you have coming in will ultimately tell you whether or not your business is successful. And I know some people may object to that very simple rationale, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you start a business, so the first thing is come up with a product people want, right? How do you know people want it? They're buying it. Number two, shamelessly market yourself. That helps with the whole buying thing. Okay. But if you're shamelessly marketing yourself and, you have a product you believe people want, but then the market is telling you otherwise, you can't pay your bills. You're pulling money out of your savings account constantly to basically just pay for, what is effectively a failing business. You have to know your books. One of my biggest, checks on this, one of the things is I can remember, my former wife and I were, coming back from vacation, we were chatting about this, and I'm like, man, look at how much money we're making. This is fantastic. And, she looks at the books, she goes, at the time we were making more money than the company had ever made and such. And she looks and she goes, I don't want to impugn her, but I'm sure she said something to me that called me like an idiot, but she was right. I'm going to say that. She was like, you're an idiot. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you're losing money hand over fist. I'm like, what are you talking about? Look at all this cash flow. Look at this great money. She says, yeah, you have tons of money coming in, but you're spending tons more money to get that money to come in. Know your books. In essence, you got to make sure that a business largely is for profit. Sure, you can have other businesses that are out there for, other altruistic means, but you got to be able to keep the doors open, and so you've got to know, okay, is my price point high enough? Am I getting enough money? Cash is king. Steve Harvey. Do you know who Steve Harvey is?
Yes, Family Matters.
Family Feud.
Geez.
Yeah, Family Feud. Yeah, Family Feud. Yeah. It's not like Urkel and such. I knew that, but no, Family Feud. You're right. It's like 19 other shows, right? I love Steve Harvey just because if you haven't listened to his words of wisdom, trust me, do yourself a favor at some point and listen to some of his stuff on YouTube or otherwise, because the man has been through a lot and he's triumphed over more. And I just think he's a really great guy, an uplifting guy, but he's going to tell you at the end of the day, work hard, and such. But, when you talk about, cash flow, cash is king, know your books. Gosh, where was I going with the whole Steve Harvey thing? Oh man, I completely lost it. I'm sorry. This happens when you get older. But you just have to know, in essence, how much you're bringing in and basically market it. Because again, if you do not have enough to cover your bills, then you've either got to shut the business down. I'm sorry. Now I remember what he was going to say. Running a business effectively, you need cash to basically pay the bills every day. You need cash to pay your employees every day. So you've got to know those books. And as Steve Harvey once famously quipped, and always quips now, money makes problems inconveniences. And so if your business is doing well, when that unexpected bill comes and your business has been doing well, you can pay that unexpected bill. When your business is not doing well, that unexpected bill can actually kill your business. So you have to basically, not only do you have to do well enough to just pay the bills every month, in my opinion, from a business perspective, you have to be doing well enough that hopefully on most months, you're banking away some money for a rainy day. What do they mean by a rainy day? Rainy day just simply means for that unexpected bill that's coming. And I can't tell you in the history of the trademark company how many times we've had unexpected bills. Now, people can argue, well, they should have been expected or something like that, but sometimes they're just not. And so you have to be able to keep cash flow going sufficient to keep a business alive. You have to make sure that your business is profitable. Can you be not profitable in the short term? Absolutely. Many businesses do that. But as a small business, my best recommendation is you need to understand what your books are and how to be profitable, and then also have a fail-safe. And this is the most painful thing for people to understand is if your business is not making money and you don't have a plan to get it to making money, then you have to be willing to walk away from the business before it drains you of everything that you have already put away working for somebody else, and then be resigned to fact to say, okay, this didn't work, go back to work for somebody else. Because if not, it's a real quick way to basically, forgive me, financially ruin you. So know your books, know your accounting is number 3, and cash is king. It'll keep you moving along. And if it's not, unfortunately, you got to know when to actually shut it down. But let's get it back with number 4, with the exciting part, which is how to know how to scale, right? So how do you think you scale a business?
You do it in tiered systems, I would say. You start off with obviously your product. You after you create your product, you go from there to start trying to market it the best you can, grow your sales team or a team in general to obviously either make the product, sell the product, et cetera, gain more employees, start getting managers for those employees, and then train people for new roles within the company. I would say it would be a good starting point.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got it right on the head. What we like to do is basically what I always say, and I always give a shout out to what we've used at the trademark company. Basically train you. And so, the way you scale your company is number one, you start looking at that, number 1, 2, and 3 are working in your favor, right? And so the answer is so eventually you get to the point where you're just like, well, I could make more money if I had more people. I just need more hands, right? But how do you do that? Well, number one, you've got to look at it like your business is a franchise. Just this morning, we were talking about, the Chick-fil-A franchise versus the Bojangles franchise versus the McDonald's franchise. But the thing that they all have in common is when someone basically comes to work for them on the first day, they have a training manual. They know how to make the chicken or the burgers or whatever it is. They know exactly how the books are run. They know exactly how the marketing is going to get people in the door. And whatever the heck, Bojangles and Chick-fil-A, I think it's just their products are so darn good, but good gosh, man. Props out to them. I mean, you can sit in line for and I don't mean this in a negative way. You can sit in line for 20 minutes sometimes to just get a chicken sandwich. And you do it because it's a dang good chicken sandwich. But anyways.
Unless you have the quick pass, that is.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm trying to learn, but I mean, it's like, how many times you literally drive by Chick-fil-A and they've got a double line of cars wrapped around the building like twice to get a chicken sandwich. It's a chicken sandwich.
That means I'm not getting a chicken sandwich is what that means. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm passing them by, but
get lucky when they're not busy. But yeah, I've had those. But I've also sat in those lines before and still got a chicken sandwich. So yeah. Or the Chick-fil-A sauce, which you can't beat.
Which, by the way, I learned this morning. Evidently, I need to start bringing in the Chick-fil-A sauce as well.
Oh, yeah, that goes hand in hand. I mean,
yeah, but yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to get that for us. But so when you look at that, one of the things that you just got to keep in mind, is sorry about that. Is basically all of those franchises reduced it to writing somehow. And from our perspective, I got a shout out. Whoa, I think I missed that one up. But anyways, I got a shout out to Trainual. They're an online platform that helps you basically scale your business by basically letting you put everything into manual, and then your employees, anyone that works for the organization, can access those. And I've thought that Trainual is absolutely fantastic. They've assisted the businesses that I'm associated with, to really scale up. But then you basically, how you scale would just simply be is number one, put it down as if you were going to franchise your business. Number two, every new employee, specific to what their role is, has a training package within Trainual or whatever you choose to use. Number three, once they're trained, then that's why you hire managers to basically then make sure that they are following their training and that they're doing their job on a day-to-day basis. That is the art of actually scaling. It's actually not as difficult as you think. I personally think the hardest part about that is not putting it in a manual. It's basically making sure that the managers then come back and just understand this is the business, this is what we do. And every day it's just, you just simply go and okay, are you making the burgers the way you're supposed to make them? Are you making the chicken the way you're supposed to make them? It's very simple. And the management is the part, is really how you scale that is by basically making sure you have good managers. But in essence, number one, create a product people want. Number two, shamelessly market it. Number three, cash is king. It makes problems inconveniences, but you got to know your books. Number three, to scale it, you've got to be able to build good teams, but effectively you got to have it written down like a franchise, and then make sure they're trained, and then follow up with them to make sure they're doing good. And finally, what's that last one up there? What do you think?
Continue to innovate and reinvent.
Why do you think that's important?
Because if you don't keep up with your competition, the competition will beat you every time. So it's like,
ooh, that's good.
Yeah, because I mean, with Apple, obviously they created the the first ever touchscreen or popularized it, but they didn't just stop there. They just kept either updating the same exact product but reinventing it so that it pleases the general audience. They made obviously a laptop, monitor, you name it, and then they came out with the iPod Touch, and then they came out with iTunes, and then they came out with a whole bunch of stuff. They just keep reinventing and innovating they basically lead the market with phones, or whatever they do. I mean, no matter what it is, they're usually at the top of the charts, which they're always at the top of the charts. But yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Apple, and I think that we all can remember Steve Jobs in those iconic black T-shirts and jeans, walking out sort of looking pensive and whipping out something from behind him, or the screen goes up and it's like it's first of all the iTouch or whatever, and then it's the iPhone, and then the iPad, and you're just like, holy crap, they now have an innovation schedule. And I recommend this highly to anyone out there that has a business that's been successful for a year or two. You have to continue to innovate. And so why? Well, for Apple's perspective, they're so big, it's because they have to push out something new every quarter, every half a year at a minimum, semi-annually, because they need you buying additional products because they've gotten so big. It has to support their business model. But you hit on something that was brilliant, and such, which is, if you're not innovating and if you're not growing, then you're dying, and your competitor is right behind you, and they're going to innovate, and they're waiting to eat your lunch. Because you better believe, even if you come up with some very unique product, with the very rare example, if you get a patent that can exclude anyone else from the marketplace from adopting it, there's going to say, if you're making money, someone's going to be looking at you going, hey, how he's making that money? I want some of that. And so they're going to come out, and they're going to figure out how to build a better mousetrap. And they're going to come right behind you. A lot of people have basically properly said, we figured that out 10 or 15 years ago. But since you've been here, because you're a great salesperson for some of our best innovations, we haven't just, we're not just doing trademarks, we basically do trademarks. We do enforcement. We've incorporated AI to do all this sort of stuff for our customers. We're bringing back LLCs like we've never done before. But that really great thing that you were great at is NFT trademarks that do not get enough press right now. But it's a fantastic way to protect your brand without actually going to an official government entity and protecting it that way. And it works. We know it works because the United States Patent and Trademark Office sort of said it works. Not sort of, they did say it works in an actual seminar they had last January and such. And so you have to continue to innovate, both for your books, but also so you are the most attractive place, going all the way back up, from where we, sort of started at one. The first thing is create a product people want, right? Well, that's fantastic, but how many mental T-shirts can someone buy? Well, if you only have one version of it, then once they get one, they don't ever have to buy it. So what does Mental do? Mental probably now has 1,000 different products, right? Because you're continuing to, in the T-shirt industry or in the clothing industry, you're innovating new lines of clothing, et cetera, et cetera. In our industry, we're innovating new ways to protect your intellectual property, protect your businesses, making it easier, et cetera, et cetera. Take it, Apple's case, they have to come up with new electronics. By the way, just yesterday, they actually had that quarterly drop, and most of it involved the iPad Air, I think is what it is. And so they were talking and then getting back into incorporating all these other things we've talked about. I was sitting there listening to this, their webcast on, their new things. And my son and I were sitting there, we're just like, well, this doesn't sound that exciting to me. Okay, great. It's a new iPad. It's thinner, it's lighter. Okay, whatever. But all the language that they used when they were talking about it was the most innovative product that Apple has ever brought out. It is, in all their words, right? But I give them complete props out. They basically are thinking, sorry, my phone was just calling me. They're the excitement that they're still trying to create in the post Steve Jobs era of Apple qualifies as that number two, right? Shamelessly market themselves. Are they going to come out and just say, the iPad, it's a little thinner, it's a little lighter. Yeah, it's about the same thing as it was last year. Just, please buy one. No, the most innovative iPad we've ever had. Mental T-shirts. Let's tie this all in together, right? This is the greatest T-shirt and our most innovative and our fun. They would have said they innovative at Mental. They would probably say something like, the funnest thing on the slope now, the craziest thing now. That's how they would but shamelessly market yourself. So create that product that people want. Okay. Shamelessly market it. Make sure that you're making money off it by knowing your books. Scale it when it is appropriate. And then of course, continue to innovate. And once you continue to innovate, you're actually back, believe it or not, we've taken you full circle on this, back up to creating a product or reinventing a product that's brand new for people. Because if you want if you want your business to continue to grow and flourish, you've got to continue to innovate. And then that takes you all the way back to step one. But if you follow these 5 steps, I guarantee you it's more likely you're going to be successful, and you're not going to become one of those 80% that sees their business dry up because you didn't create a product people wanted, and you're going to have long-term success. Right, Jacob?
Beautifully said, Matt. Beautifully said. I really love everything you talked about today. This pretty much, if you follow all these top tips for new business success, me and Matt both can't guarantee anything, but we do guarantee that if you put your heart and soul into these topics, and then you kind of just take them forward into your new business, that you will succeed in some sort of ways. I'll list them in the description so you don't have to write them down. But yeah, Matt, you did a really great job explaining all of these together. And I think this is really good for any new business that's just starting out or is still in the process of just, being in business, and they just want some new topics to kind of just remind themselves of how to continue to do great business. So thank you, Matt, for talking about those things today. On a side note, Matt, I know this is coming up in a month or two, but who are you taking? Jake Paul or Mike Tyson? Who are you taking?
I'm 53, man. Mike Tyson's going to beat that man into the ground. What do you think?
So I think my dad was telling me about this the other day. This is going to be one of the biggest fights in history. You know that, right? This is which is funny because it's an exhibition, and it's between somebody that literally started out on Vines and TikTok, and now he's grown to be this big boxer. But him and Mike Tyson facing each other, I think hopefully I wanted to say all for Mike Tyson, but then Jake Paul is really good, man. Even though he hasn't, I know he's fought a couple of decent people before, but I don't think he's seen anything like Mike Tyson before. So I think
2 hits, Mike Tyson hitting Jake Paul and Jake Paul hitting the ground. But yeah. I'm borrowing from the Breakfast Club there. But again, that's my generation. I just don't think that. Yeah, I think the power of Mike Tyson is something that he's never seen, even as Iron Mike is in his 50s. But we will see. But again, props out to both men because it's been so hyped up. I'm sure they're each going to bank over 50 million, which, I don't think I would, I think we always used to joke around would you step in? Heck yeah, I'd step in the ring with Mike Tyson to get knocked out for 50 million. I'm pretty sure he's not going to kill me. But props out to Jake Paul for getting to a level that he can then challenge Mike, and Mike for, taking the challenge, and I hope those guys make a lot of money and give us a great show.
Yeah, exactly. I would think, I think it's on pay-per-view, so I think maybe Ian would even host that party over at his house. So I might join that. But anyways, thank you again for anyone who's listening today, for joining me and Matt on our Small Business Chat podcast. We went through those top tips for new business. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and thanks again for listening.